Hey guys, so whether you play Dungeons and Dragons or Hero Quest, one thing they both have in common is the BBEG at the end. And to you and me, that's the big bad evil guy or girl, or maybe the big bad end guy. That's the one who's going to be guarding all that lovely treasure that we want to get. And as you can see, yeah, I've got this lovely five-headed dragon, absolutely beast of a thing. I play house rules or rule of cool, yeah, this will fit nicely in a Hero Quest campaign at the very end. And in this video, I'm going to show how I 3D printed, assembled, and obviously painted this lovely beast of a miniature. Although I say miniature, it's quite large, although it is an even larger scale one. So I got this from Loot Studios. It's Izat'al Dragon Empress. Again, guys, I'll leave links down below to all the things that I 3D print if you want to get hold of them. And obviously throughout the video, I will show what paints I use. So as this is quite large, yeah, I printed it out on several parts using the Halo X1. Obviously, you can get quite a few bits on one, obviously, build plate here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this beast is, well, this was done on 5 separate build plates. Possibly could have got it down to 4, but yeah, there's no point in over sort of doing it. So yeah, the Halo X1, absolutely love this printer. It's got quite a few cool features, and obviously, as you can see from this initial shot, yeah, rather than the build plate going down, you've got all the gubbins at the bottom coming up. Yeah, pretty impressive to watch. And also, as it comes up, it then, when it does the 3D printing with the light flashing and all the rest of it, again, I don't know how these things work. Yeah, the whole base unit sort of comes down away from the build plate. So quite a cool bit of technology there. So yeah, a few hours later, and sort of, well, the first of 5 bits is done. And yeah, everything's printed beautifully on this machine. So I've had this for about 3-4 months now, I think. Definitely one of my favourite 3D printers. Obviously, it looks cool. But say definitely some cool little features on this, which we will go over. And the one I love is this at the top. It's got little paddles that you wiggle, and the bits fall off. No more scraping. So getting the next build plate ready. As you can see, yeah, tons of bits on there. And there is a case of, well, rinse and repeat. And as you can see, they've all come out perfectly. And yes, I will show the flappy paddles in more detail in another video because I've got quite a few projects on the go using the Halo X1. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. As you can see, all the bits, yeah, printed out perfectly. Also, this is one thing I do love about Loot Studios, even though this is, I think, the first thing I've printed from them. I've known about them for ages, and that's actual quality and detail in everything they produce. And as you can see, yeah, using the Halo X1, everything has come out beautifully. And it is a case of now, well, let's assemble this thing, as there are obviously quite a lot of bits to sort of put together. Went together real easy, no issues at all. Obviously, there's a lot of locating little nibbly knobbly bits, which is obviously really good because it makes it easier to put them together. And then, yeah, using a bit of super glue. Yeah, this is where I just chuck loads of this stuff on. I don't know if there's a right way or a wrong way to put super glue on. I can't see it. Yeah, just get loads on. Hopefully not too much that it won't spill out. So super glue I've got is 2 different types of super glue. I'll get mine from the Colour Forge. You get the thin one, which really does sort of just dribble out like water, or the thick one, which is the one I prefer to use, just because it doesn't dribble all over the place. And the other great thing with the Loot Studios one, as you can see, yeah, the parts, they are sort of lettered, numbered. Makes it easier to put them in the right place. Plus the little knobby little bits, they're all different as well. So you can't accidentally put the wrong one in the wrong one. Yeah, everything's glued together. Obviously, this is where some people would say, yeah, let's paint these bits in parts. Me, no, I put everything together. Well, as you can see, there are some gaps. I'm not sure if this is something that I've done. I do tend to leave my prints possibly in the wash station too long. It's a lot easier to get the supports off, but sometimes it can warp the bits. So yeah, guys, let me know why do I have some big gaps here? Is it because I've left it in the wash station too long? So obviously I don't want to paint it with the gaps because when you paint stuff, any gaps that are there, they become even more noticeable. So I'm using good old green stuff. Obviously when you get it first, it is blue and yellow. But then when you mix it up, what colour is it going to be? Yeah, it's green. So yeah, green stuff. Love using this. Guys, if you do use this though, the one bit of advice I can give you, keep your tool wet. Yeah. Because otherwise this stuff, it is quite sticky. So whether it's your fingers or the tool that you're using or implement, whatever you want to call it, Yeah, by keeping it wet makes it a lot easier to sort of move this stuff. This stuff it's like plasticine, but it does dry rock hard, which is great. It doesn't take too long either. After about 10-15 minutes, it is starting to firm up, and then yeah, a good hour later, this stuff is solid. So yeah, perfect filling in little gaps. To say this is where I had considered painting it, but if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know I tend to just assemble everything, even some dioramas. I fully assemble a diorama and then paint it afterwards. So it's all in situ. Sometimes this is good, sometimes it's bad, but it's just the way I prefer it. I do prefer painting something all in one rather than having loads of separate bits. So yeah, the heads, they're all lettered, numbered as well, which is great. And obviously, yeah, I'm going to be priming this in black, dry brushing. So I'm going to go through the colours. Obviously, I won't mention them because I can never remember what they are, but I do show every colour I use on the screen. And again, guys, I've only really been painting miniatures for the last couple of years, even though I've had this channel, well, 5 years. Yesterday, I believe, was my 5-year anniversary of having this channel. But it is literally only the last sort of 2-3 years that I've really enjoyed painting miniatures. And that's all because of, well, how I'm going to show you how I paint this one. And that is, say, priming in black, doing some dry brushing, nibbly knobbly dry brush there. Yeah, I laser engraved nibbly knobbly on the side because that's what I used to call all the sprue bits that I would cut off. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys joined the channel because of the sprue builds. Apologies, obviously I don't do a ton of those. But yeah, nibbly knobbly bits is the bits that come off. And then dry brushing. There are quite a few ways you can do this. Obviously, I'm just going left and right. If you want to get a smoother looking dry brush, then do circles. But sometimes it's nice to go left and right and you get almost sort of scratch marks kind of in the look. The other thing you can do is with the dry brush, sounds a bit weird, but get the brush wet first. So dip it in some water, then put the paint on, then obviously rub it off. Again, with the dry brush being that little bit wet, it does help move the paint around. But this is one of these things where I know I've had a lot of people comment saying, "Oh, I can't get the dry brush to look like how you do it." It's getting it how you want it to look. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to just mess about, keep painting things. Sometimes I still sometimes have too much paint when I first do that initial little bit of dry brushing. So yeah, you'll still make mistakes, but as I like to call them, happy little accidents and all the rest. Yeah, good old Bob Ross. I did watch him when I was younger. Absolutely loved his energy, his enthusiasm, and his absolutely calming voice. And obviously a great painter. So yeah, dry brush it the whole of this. This is where obviously when you do glue everything together, it can be tricky getting into certain areas. But as I see it, any areas you can't get to with that dry brush, they're then going to be darker, which is good because obviously it means your brush can't get in. It is an area that is covered or shaded or guarded or blocked or whatever. So yeah, starting off with pallid bones. So you can see me use a variety of paints, as in from different manufacturers. The main ones, obviously, I use Army Painter speed paints, and then Green Stuff World dipping inks. I do want to try other ones, but these are the ones that I kind of use the most. I have used Citadel contrast paints, and yeah, they're pretty good. But to be honest, I use paints that are sent to me. Yeah, I'm cheap. I can be brought. If they want to send me paints, I will try them. Obviously, if I don't like them, you'll see them in one video, and then that will be it. But obviously, as you can tell, yeah, Army Painter and Green Stuff World, awesome paints. Use them all the time. They are very different in how they go on, though, guys. If you're used to Army Painter paints and then you use Green Stuff World ones, be prepared. They are a lot more fluid. I used to always use the word they're more watery, but yeah, fluid is obviously the more correct term. So yeah, they will really go into the nooks and crannies and literally everywhere else because they are a lot wetter. So yeah, with this paint scheme, I've kind of copied how the miniature looked over on Loot Studios' website. Obviously, paint things however you like, but sometimes, yeah, I think one of the biggest problems I have when I'm painting something is what colours to use. Especially, say, the choice of colours from Army Painter. They have so many, which is great, but then sometimes it is difficult to sort of pick the ones you actually want to use. So I've done his sort of, well, he's kind of like his fingery bits, I guess. And now we're going to do the bits of skin in between. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, I got some TT Combat paints, but obviously these are washes. But the thing is, yeah, a wash and speed paints, I don't think there's a lot of difference. Again, anyone who's technical out there, let me know in the comments what the big difference is. I guess one probably has more sort of normal paints than the stuff that makes it, well, wet and fluid. But yeah, so even using washes, again, I love using washes, but using washes over the speed paints as well. They don't reactivate or go weird or anything. Obviously, let them dry first, unless you really want them to mix in. But with the washes, I love the fact that when you put it over things, it really does sort of tie everything in and makes it all look, well, more natural looking. And then, yeah, dry brush again. So we dry brush, then we use the speed paints, and then we dry brush again, just to get even more sort of depth and contrast in everything. So again, nooks and crannies definitely going to be darker, but now using the dry brushing, it just adds that extra sort of layer, extra bit of color. And yeah, it's something I am doing a lot more of now, is dry brushing over the top of things. In fact, I've got some makeup sponges turning up today, as I've seen a few people use those to do dry brushing. Yeah, again, I love giving things a go, guys. So if there's any technique you've seen that I've not done, or any other painters that you've seen do something, let me know. I do watch a lot of other people because obviously that's, well, that's one way of learning. Seeing what they do, having a go at doing it yourself, and then adapting it to, well, what suits you. So there we go. Yeah, I love how obviously the wings have come out. So I decided, yeah, that's how I'm going to do kind of the main body. Um, Obviously, this dragon, yeah, 5 heads. So I'm going to have one head that kind of is part of that main body. So he's going to be done exactly how I've just done the wings, using this, I forgot what the color is, but obviously that's already brown. Again, guys, just keep pausing the video if you want to sort of see exactly what paints I use. I know I don't show them much, but I do show them enough that you can just pause or rewind and, yeah, see exactly the sort of the colors that I use. So doing exactly the same as I have just done. And this is where, say, you get a miniature with a ton of detail, it's going to come out even better using speed paints, which is really weird because when I first started painting miniatures 5 years ago, I only painted a few, and because I was so bad, I stopped. And I always had problems with the more detail a miniature, the worse I think I made it look. Whereas now you kind of want miniatures that have a ton of detail, a ton of texture, and a ton of recesses. Because obviously it's all these recesses, good old nooks and crannies. That's where the paint is going to pool up and be darker than the flatter, smoother edges. And obviously that's what gives us our great contrast in the colours, which is just awesome. So guys, most of the miniatures I get are normally from my mini factory. If there's any sort of sculptors or model makers and all that you guys use, let me know in the comments, as I want to obviously try out a whole variety of, well, different people. And I want to put the Halo X1 printer to sort of to test, really. As you can see, lovely tons of detail in this. But yeah, if you've got a miniature that's got, again, a ton of detail, I want to try it out on the printer just to sort of see how well it goes. Again, I've got a video coming out soon as well, guys, where I test out the Halo X1's slicer software to see how well it can do supports. As I know, when I first started my 3D printing journey about 4 years ago, any miniatures that didn't have supports, yeah, when I tried to do supports myself, they would fail. Or when I tried to use the auto supports on whatever machine it was, again, there was almost a 50-50 chance of failure. So yeah, I want to test out the Halo X1 and see just how good it can sort of perform making up its own supports, as well as obviously how well it prints out obviously miniatures like this with an absolute ton of detail. So yeah, guys, let me know down below what sort of well, where you get your miniatures from, just so I can go check them out. Obviously, the main kind of things that I do on this channel are fantasy and sci-fi. So it is kind of like D&D related, Hero Quest, or Warhammer. I still never played an actual full game of Warhammer, but I do love the Warhammer kill teams. Yeah, absolutely love that. And yeah, it's definitely some more videos coming soon again, guys, where I, well, 3D print and paint loads more miniatures for kill team. I think I've got about 30 odd different kill teams now. It's getting a bit crazy, but obviously absolutely love it. Apologies now, the screen sometimes can look a little bit fuzzy, foggy. Been on a bit of a heat wave in the UK. And yeah, it seems to be making my screen, well, sort of heat up. And if I don't sort of check first, yeah, there is that little bit of, well, I don't know what it is really, fogginess in the screen. But yeah, so apologies for that. Yeah, so this miniature, absolutely love how it turned out. I say this is the smaller, this is the 32mm sized version. There is a 75mm size version. Obviously, there's a lot more parts to that because it is so much bigger. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is quite big to have on a board. I might one day print out the 75mm version. Not sure because again, I run out of room to store stuff. So yeah, anything really, really big, yeah, I do struggle, or it ends up going away in a cupboard or a closet, almost never to be seen again. So that's why I do prefer sort of the smaller looking items, just because it is easier to maintain them and look after them. So yeah, I must admit, obviously you saw me there paint the treasure chest. I think if I was in a party, a D&D or Hero Quest, and this was the size of the treasure chest, and then I saw this thing guarding it, I think I'd be like, nah, yeah, I'm fine, I'm off, guys. Yeah, I don't think it looks worth the effort to try and fight a five-headed dragon for a chest that's obviously quite small. Anyway, I digress. Uh, yeah, so this guy obviously painted, really fun to paint. And again, I am trying new things every now and then. As I say, definitely doing the dry brushing over the top of everything. Again, it just gives that extra layer and makes things obviously so much better. And I've got the makeup sort of sponges turning up later today, and I've just currently 3D printed something to try that out on. So that's going to be fun because I don't think I've ever used sponges, but I think I've used some sponges to try and do well, kind of like battle damage or rust on tanks. But I've never used sponges to do well, kind of like a layering is how I've seen someone do it. So that'll be fun to sort of try. Again, I do like trying new things out because that is a way we can not necessarily improving our painting, but it's certainly definitely a way of getting more enjoyment from painting by trying new things. As I say, you try new things. If you like it, great. If not, well, you don't do it again, or you adapt and change whatever it is to sort of suit your style. So this is one thing. Speed paints, getting a white. Their white is still grey. I think Green Stuff World do a white that is a bit more white, but again, that's because it is more sort of say translucent, more wet, more watery, more fluid. Um, but yeah, unless it's me not shaking the white. Okay, guys, if you use speed paints, the Army Painter speed paints with the white, is it more of a white? Because I've never known it to be white, which is why, as you can see now, I'm going to dry brush over the top of this holy white, just because, well, it's come out of grey. I got bad eyesight, but that's still grey. So again, a bit more of a dry brush. I must admit, when I try new things, sometimes I do go crazy. So like now, every part of this thing, yeah, it got dry brushed afterwards. But I love it. I loved the effect, love the colour. Obviously, with that head, I dry brushed white. All the other heads, I dry brush a lighter colour of whatever it is. So if it's a green head, or the brownie head, or soon to be a red head. So the last one, yeah, going to paint it red, well, red and a bit of orange, as they are my favourite colours. But again, I love painting the separate heads, and obviously even the bottoms of them. I obviously put bits of the paint, whatever paint I was using for the head, I did over the bottom, try and merge it into the head that was sort of next to it and the back and everything. And yeah, that didn't come out too bad either. So some paints work a lot better than others. So this red, I'm not sure if I've used this red before by Army Painter. This came out, it's quite a thick solid. There's a lot of pigment in this. Again, though, this could just be me not shaking the bottle enough. Yeah, guys, that's something. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys use bottle shakers to mix up the pigments? Because I do sometimes feel that some of the colours, they do look like they've not been mixed thoroughly. And obviously, that will be down to operator error. That's why I like the washes as well, because washes, yeah, you still obviously give them a bit of a shake, but they generally come out, well, as wet as anything. So yeah, with the red head here, the two colours look too separate. So again, going over the whole of the thing with the wash just helps sort of make them two colours look a bit more, well, a bit more like they're suited for each other, and not sort of opposing colours. Plus, I love using washes. As you can see, yeah, I'm like, let's go over everything. Even the bony bits will do the wash. But again, it just adds that extra little bit of a hint of colour. I think that's the problem. That's why I think I didn't used to like painting in the early days, because I would paint something like a block blue, block yellow, block red, and then it would look like it was painted by like a 5-year-old kid when his eyes shut. Talking of eyes, yeah, I don't normally do eyes, but obviously I'm trying to get the little dots in there. So using the smallest brush, but trying to get paint on there, so it is almost like a dollop at the very end. But this is where obviously the steady hand. And the fact, guys, this is my excuse and I'm sticking to it. I've got a camera, well, my phone, right in front of my face. So that's the other reason I'm using it as an excuse if the eyes don't quite go right. But luckily, I think I got all the eyes okay. Sometimes I do an eye and it's like, oh, this thing looks like it's well, it's cross-eyed. It's looking two ways. But yeah, I was quite pleased with the eyes on this one. And then the last kind of really thing, yeah, the teeth and the tongues. So teeth obviously going like a white or like it's an off-white because I've still yet haven't bought a new white. I've not had a white for about 2 months now. I need to pull my finger out and go and buy a white. Or if you're a paint company and you want to send me a nice acrylic white to use in my videos, then yeah, link down below. So you can contact me. So yeah, love how he's come out. Obviously, little guy down the bottom. I didn't really want him to stand out too much, so I've not really done much with him. I painted a few of his bits silver just because, well, he's got armor on. And then yeah, a wash. I mean, this guy, he's been down here a long time. He's brown bread, obviously. So yeah, I'm not going to do too much. Don't want any colour on him because I don't really want him to sort of like stand out or be a focus. Almost kind of want him to be an afterthought. So you look at the dragon, and then you think, oh look, there's a guy down the bottom. He's toast. So yeah, painted him very minimal. Did a bit of the old wash, and then yeah, teeth and tongues. They can have a bit of a wash. So the wash it is or was Agrax Earthshade, but then I kind of poured in well whatever paints or washes I have left over. And there we go. There is one Izat'al, the Dragon Empress, fully painted, ready to be used, and absolutely love it. Love how this came out. Didn't take that long at all. Again, this is where I love painting now. In the past, I'd have spent about 2 days painting this, as in solidly, and it would look like a dog's dinner. Whereas now I can sit down. I think this may have been 3 hours, 4 hours. Sometimes it's difficult to say because I do a little bit of painting, then I go away and work on another project, come back to a project. So I don't sit down and sort of spend 3-4 hours in one hit on something. I like to have a variety of things on the go, just because, well, I like to have a variety of things on the go. Okay, guys, don't forget to check out the links down below. Check out the Halo X1, awesome printer, working really well. And you can see a lot more videos this month from it because I want to try it out in a whole variety of things. It was me indicating to click like down below and subscribe. Another video coming up, guys. Give that a click, see more of what I do. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, leave comments. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.